Y and OC units of good X. But see, when income increases means purchasing power of consumer will also increase. See, now budget line will shift. Budget line will shift right from BC to B1 C1. B1 C1 means now this budget, new budget line means which is right word, showing that consumer is consuming OB1 units of good Y and OC1 units of good X. I hope all of you have understood. See, next, income decreases, the budget line shift left from BC to B2 C2. See, now consumer income decreases means purchasing power of consumer will also decrease, means budget line shift leftward. Budget line will shift left from BC to B2 C2. Now this new budget line which is leftward, showing that consumer is consuming OB 2 units of good Y and OC 2 units of good X. I hope all of you have understood change in income, and you can say first case of shift in budget line, change in income and price remains constant. When income increases, budget line shift from right from BC to B1 C1, and income decreases, budget line shift left from BC to B2 C2. See after this, change in price of both goods, and income remains constant. Change in price of both goods and income remains constant. See, when price of both goods, increases, see, change in price of both goods means change in price of good Y and change in price of good Y as well as change in price of good X. See, when price of both goods increase means price of good Y and price of good X increases, the budget line shift left. Budget line, it means that budget line shift left, because see, when price of both goods increases means purchasing power of consumer will also decrease, means consumer power, we can say purchasing power of consumer will decrease. That's why the budget line shift left from BC to B1 C1. See, left BC to B1 C1. I hope all of you have understood. And price of both goods decreases means price of good Y and price of good X decreases, the means purchasing power of consumer will increase. That's why the budget line shift right from BC to B2 C2 means new budget line, means which is rightward, showing that consumer is consuming OB2 units of good Y and OC2 units of good X, OC2 units of good X and OB2 units of good Y. I hope all of you have understood first part of change in budget line. First part is shift in budget line. I hope all of you have understood shift in budget line. See, shift in budget line has two parts: change in income and price remains constant. When income increases, the budget line shift right from BC to B1 C1, BC to B1 C1, because purchasing power of consumer will increase, and income decreases, the budget line shift left from BC to B2 C2, because purchasing power of consumer will decrease. I hope this diagram is clear. See next, change in price of both goods, and both goods means change in price of good Y as well as change in price of good X. Income remains constant. See, when price of both goods increase means purchasing power of consumer will decrease. That's why the budget line shift left from BC to B1 C1, BC to B1 C1, and price of both goods decrease means purchasing power of consumer will increase. That's why the budget line shift right from BC to B2 C2, BC to B2 C2, which is right word. I hope all of you have understood. See, now after this, we are going to discuss next second part of change in budget line. Second part of change in budget line, rotation in budget line, rotation in budget line, and rotation in budget line has two part. Change in price of good X. Change in price of good X means change in price of good X means change in price of good X, and means price of good Y remains constant. Price of good Y remains constant. See here, when the price of good X falls, when the price, see, good X on the Y x-axis and good Y is measured on the Y axis, good X is measured on the X axis. See, when the price of good X falls, which means good X will cheaper, means good X will be cheaper. See, so budget line will rotate from BC to BC1. It means that when the price of good X falls, means purchasing power of consumer. Listen, please listen carefully. When the price of good X falls, means purchasing power of consumer will increase in case of good X. So consumer will purchase more units of good X, more units of good X. So you can say more quantity of good X, because price of good X falls. Budget line will rotate from BC to BC1. See, BC. This is original budget line. See, this is original budget line shows that you can say showing that consumer is consuming OB units of good Y and OC units of good X. But now price of good X falls, means purchasing power of consumer will increase in case of good X. So consumer will purchase more quantity of good X. See, now consumer will purchase more quantity of good C as compared to OC, as compared to OCC. So budget line will rotate right. You can say rotate from BC to BC1. Means consumption of good Y remains constant because there is no change in price of good Y, but consumption of good X will be changed because change in because good X means price of good X is changing. See, price of good X falls, means budget line rotate from BC to BC1. Then after, if price of good X rises, means purchasing power of consumer will decrease in case of good X, means consumer will consume less quantity of good X, means C, rotate from BC to BC to BC2. I hope all of you have understood. This diagram means rotation in budget line in case of good X. In case of good X, see after this, change in price of good Y. Change in price of good Y. When the price of good Y falls, when the price of good Y falls, budget line will rotate from BC to B1 C1. When the price of good Y falls, means purchasing power of consumer will increase in case of good Y, means see, BC2 B1 C1, means this new budget line, which is rightward, showing that consumer is consuming, means OB1 units of good Y as compared to OB, because consumer means purchasing power of consumer is a, we can say consumer purchasing power of consumer increase here. See, after this increased here, after this BC to B1C, and if price of good Y rises, means purchasing power of consumer will decrease in case of good Y. So consumer will purchase less units of, or you can say less quantity of good Y, means OB2. Budget line will rotate from BC to B to C2. So B to C. Budget line will rotate BC to B to C. And consumption of good X remains constant because there is no change in price of good X. I hope rotation in budget line is clear and change in price of good Y is clear. See, rotation budget line has two parts: change in price of good X and change in price of good Y. I hope all of you have understood change in budget line. Change in budget line has two parts: shift in budget line, and shift in budget line has two parts: First, change in income and price remains constant. Second, change in price of both goods and income remains constant. And second part of change in budget line, rotation in budget line. Budget line has two parts. Rotation budget line has two parts. Change in price of good X and change in price of good Y. I hope all of you have understood. In my next video, we will discuss consumer equilibrium. Consumer's equilibrium with the help of indifference curve analysis. Have a good day and